All right, if you're a junior engineer just getting your start in cloud operations, then you are in the exact right place. We're going to tackle two of the biggest challenges you're ever going to face: how to keep your services online, and, just as important, how to keep those costs down. So let's dive right in. You know the feeling, right? That awful, jarring sound that just rips you out of a deep sleep. Your heart immediately starts pounding because you know somewhere something is very, very broken. And the worst part? It's not just that something's broken, it's the same thing that broke last week and the week before. You know the drill by heart. Log in, find the server that crashed, kill it, and then spin up a brand new one from an image. It's this frustrating, repetitive loop, and you know deep down it solves absolutely nothing long term. So this scenario, it's the classic pain point of traditional operations. You're trying to support this really important service, but it's all running on one server, a single point of failure. And you, my friend, are the manual recovery button. You know, in the world of site reliability engineering, or SRE, they actually have a word for this. It's called toil. It's all that manual, repetitive, tactical work that honestly adds zero long-term value. It doesn't just keep you from building cool new features, it's a one-way ticket to burnout. And our job as good engineers is to get rid of it.
Okay, so how do we actually break this cycle? How do we get to sleep through the night? The answer, and this is so fundamental, is automation. We need to build a system that can fix itself. We need a system that is self-healing.
All right, let's meet our new best friend, the Managed Instance Group, or MIG for short. So a MIG manages a bunch of VMs. And if you're new to this, a VM is just a virtual machine. Think of it like your own server, but it's running in the cloud. Now, the key here is that a MIG takes all these identical VMs and treats them like one single thing. And that, right there, is where the magic happens. I love this analogy. It just makes so much sense. On the left, you've got the techie concept. A MIG finds a sick server and swaps it out. But now look at the right, the real-world analogy. Think of a great store manager. If one of their employees calls in sick, does the manager freak out? No, they just call in a replacement. And the store stays open, customers are happy, everything keeps running smoothly. That is exactly what a MIG is doing for your application. So how does this actually work? Well, it's a pretty simple 5-step process. First, it all starts with what's called health check. It's constantly just poking your server, asking, hey, you good? You still there? If the server doesn't answer correctly, bam, step 2, it gets flagged as unhealthy. That's the signal for the MIG to wake up. In step 3, it sees the failure, and in step 4, it just deletes the problem server, no questions asked. And finally, step 5, it spins up a brand new, perfectly healthy one from a template. The best part? This all happens automatically, usually in just a few minutes, and you don't have to lift a finger. Okay, so let's circle back to our original nightmare scenario. You're stuck in that loop manually replacing that server over and over. You want to apply these SRE principles and just eliminate that toil. So what do? Yep, you got it. You create a managed instance group, even if it's just for that one single server to start, and you set up a health check on it. So the next time it's 3 in the morning and that server decides to crash, the MIG handles it. The pager never goes off. You scrape right through the night. That, right there, is the power of automation. Okay, awesome. Problem 1 is solved. You're sleeping again, your service is stable, life is good. But you know how it is in the real world, right? The challenges never stop. Your boss comes over and says, hey, great work on the stability, but now we need to cut our cloud bill. And this kicks off our second big idea for today, cost optimization. But listen, this isn't just about picking the cheapest thing on the menu. Nope. It's about being smart. It's about understanding that different applications have totally different needs, and it's our job to match the right cloud tool to the right kind of work. All right, so say hello to our main tool for saving money, the preemptible VM. Now, these are virtual machines that can be up to 80% cheaper than the standard ones. I mean, huge savings. But, and this is a huge but, Google Cloud can just take them back. Poof, gone, with only 30 seconds of warning. Let me say that again. There is absolutely zero availability guarantee. The analogy here with a standby flight ticket, it's perfect. You can get a plane ticket for way, way cheaper, which is amazing. But you're accepting the risk that if that flight is full, you're getting bumped. You wouldn't book a standby ticket to fly to your own wedding, right? A preemptible VM is exactly the same deal. Massive savings, but you have to be totally okay with your work getting interrupted. So this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Understanding that trade-off is everything. Knowing these machines can just vanish at any moment, what on earth would you actually run on them? You certainly wouldn't put your company's main website on one.
The sweet spot here is any kind of work that is fault-tolerant, especially those big, chunky batch processing jobs. Now, batch processing is just a fancy way of saying work that can be done in chunks over time without a user waiting for an answer. Think about something like a video rendering platform. A job starts to render a huge video file. If the preemptible VM it's on gets pulled halfway through, is it a disaster? Nope, not at all. The system just reschedules that job to start over on a different machine a little later. No data is lost, no user is impacted. It's the perfect use case.
Okay, so let's bring it all home. We've looked at a couple of specific Google Cloud tools, sure, but what we're really talking about are two huge foundational principles. It's a way of thinking. You could call it an SRE mindset.
So what are the big takeaways? First, automate away that toil. If you find yourself doing the same manual fix over and over, that's your signal to automate it and build a self-healing system. Second, always understand the trade-offs, especially between cost and reliability. Use that knowledge to pick the right tool for the job. That way you're not overpaying for things you don't need and you're not underpowering your critical services. I promise you these two ideas will guide you through so many challenges in your career.
Look, when you really get these concepts, you stop just fighting fires. You start engineering real, robust, and efficient solutions. So as you keep going on your own journey, I'll just leave you with this question. Now that you've got a handle on reliability and cost, what's the next big operational challenge you want to solve? What are you going to automate next? Keep building and keep learning.